Hello and welcome to Kakafina channel. My name is Ome, and let's start with Apple of My Eye. This polish is discontinued, but if you see it in someone's D-stash, do not buy it. This polish, even though pretty on Mooncat promo pictures, was rather underwhelming in real life and also had a terribly patchy and gloopy formula. I remember it having almost exclusively bad reviews while it was available. All of them said the same, that the formula was indeed unworkable. So skip it if you see it somewhere, and in addition, pop a bottle of champagne while you're at it, since you have dodged a bullet and you should celebrate. Not only The Stranger is my most worn color of 2023, but it is the color that made me make the first purchase from Mooncat. This is an olivey muddy green creme, fully opaque in 2 coats only. In my opinion, this shade is a must-have if you enjoy green polishes. I wouldn't say it's a seasonal polish for me personally. I wear it all year round and it is great for stamping too. If I'm being honest, I don't think I could live without The Stranger in my nail polish collection anymore. If the house is on fire, I would grab my cat and The Stranger first. At this point, I should make a color for Tsiri containing a few of my favorite nail polishes. Passport? Nah. Who needs identity when you can have a bottle of the most majestic green to ever exist? Heart of Stone is a duochrome lacquer filled with holographic glitter that shifts between shades of stone and pink. I bought it a while back and I loved it at first, but it soon became too boring to wear. I still do wear it sometimes, so I will not declutter it as of yet, but I do reach for other shades so much more if I'm being honest. The formula is on the thicker side, but the polish still requires around 3 coats to full opacity. Another must-have green is Access Denied. Here in a black jelly base we have very fine multi-dimensional green shimmer. In the first 2 coats the polish looks kinda ugly and it seems like it has a finicky formula, but once you get the shade to 4 coats it looks beautiful. While Access Denied doesn't look like much while overcast, in the sunlight the shade is to die for or to kill for. Depends on the circumstances really, but yes, if you still somehow don't have it, you are definitely missing out. Fake Halo is a nude slightly orangey base with a very linear and very holographic glitter in it. Only a few coats and you can blind yourself with rainbows. How easy is that? Just have in mind that those rainbows aren't really seen in low lights. I know some of y'all have sunlight, so you can use that to unlock that crazy good holo. Or you know, modern day phones have flashlights for a reason, am I right? When someone asks me what they should try from Mooncat, I always recommend Fake Halo first, because it seems like a classic to have in everyone's collection. No matter the collection, stamps, dildos or dead people, just add a good old Fake Halo and the collection is immediately better. Emo For Life is your classic 1-coat black that is fully opaque in 1 coat. Unbelievable, I know. Many people asked me, well, one person did, well maybe, but maybe I just dreamt about it? I'm not sure anymore, but yeah, how does it compare to Holo Taco's 1-coat black? OCB is a bit blacker and a bit thicker. Both good blacks though, so whichever you choose, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Into the Abyss is a deep midnight blue creme, fully opaque in 1 to 2 coats depending on the application. If you go for 1 thicker coat, it is absolutely doable with no patchiness, but if you do have longer nails or you apply in very thin coats, you might need a second one. I wouldn't consider this shade a must-have, but I do use it all the time on its own and as a dark base for other colors as well. It is a perfect shade for you grungy polish lovers when you want something dark on your nails but not necessarily black. You know, just to spice it up for you crazy girls and boys. Poison Ivy is a deep forest green creme, fully opaque in 2 coats. Another alternative for black if you are feeling edgy and adventurous. Just like Into the Abyss, I wouldn't consider it a must-have, but more so, a nice-to-have would be a correct term. Like, it would be nice to find a couple of euros on the ground from time to time, but somehow the entire world collectively stopped losing their money, which is frankly insulting at this point. I still always look at the ground when walking because some Eastern European sidewalks haven't been repaired since the Soviet Union, and there is a huge possibility to trip trip, and I don't mean it in a narcotics way. From the Ashes is a deep oxblood red creme, fully opaque in 2 coats. Now that's what I consider a must-have. Any shade that has a blood word in its description is a must-have, and I didn't make those rules, it's just common sense. I still wait for Mooncat to release coagulated blood or scab blood shades as well, like with chunks and everything. Also, I am surprised none of these crazy Instagram nail artists haven't made a period blood mani with clots bigger than a fetus that somehow has more rights than an average woman these days. Anyways, I don't discriminate against blood, and I think we should have more blood-inspired nail polishes in the future. Queen of Chaos is a deep amethyst purple creme, fully opaque in 2 coats. I feel like a lot of people would enjoy this shade, but for me personally, this just wasn't it, and I decluttered it. I realized I only like very bright, almost neon blurples, and not these weird muted eggplant shades, but again, that's just me and you may like it. And the formula is good too, so don't be shy. If you like the color, grab it. I Am a Motherfucking Supernova is a gold glitter lacquer filled with holographic glitter, fully opaque in 3 coats. This shade has no base color, so that's why it requires a bit more coats, but to my mind it's worth it because the sparkle under the sun or under flash is truly sparkling, and the shade of gold itself is not too white nor too yellow, just the perfect in between that will match your gold rings if you have any. It can also match your imaginary gold rings if you imagine the correct shade of the rings as well, and I think that's beautiful. Shroomdom is a red jelly lacquer filled with iridescent flakes and hollow glitter, fully opaque in 3 coats. Now, I wore the shit out of this shade last summer, however I found the best red, which is Pandemonium, also from Mooncat, and that's why I believe this shade will be decluttered. I simply don't reach for it anymore, even though it is quite different red compared to Pandemonium, brightness and formula-wise. Also, I have comparisons with Hollow Taco's favorite sister as well. I personally am a huge red color wearer, but Shroomdom is a pass for me. Pangea is a matte ultra dark blue lacquer filled with color shifting green to orange to red ultra fine flakes. Now with this one I have a love slightly annoyed relationship with it because the bottled polish looks so divine and I can't stop staring at it. In fact, when I don't write someone back, it's because 9 times out of 10 I am being mesmerized by a Pangea in a bottle. Now when you apply it on your nails though, it is quite a bit less majestical and the shift of flakes isn't as shifty. I think what happens is the jelly blue base cancels out the intenseness of the flakes so it doesn't look as bright. That being said, I still love the shade and will continue to wear it, as well as looking at the bottle, and I do think it's worth getting it. Tyrannosaurus Hex is a matte green lacquer filled with green multichrome flakies and jam-packed with reflective glitter, fully opaque in 3 coats. It is also discontinued, but if you find it at someone's D-stash, grab it immediately. It is indeed one of my must-have green polishes because of its unique mixed formula and a pretty bright shade of green as well. I don't know why, but it feels personal when green shades get discontinued, and I wish I could ask Michelle to a duel to death for several polish discontinuation. But alas, I don't think these duels are very legal, but we could do a twerk battle or something. I would learn to twerk for this polish in a year or so, even though I have the dance moves of a log. Velociraptor is a matte dark tea lacquer filled with color-shifting orange to purple iridescent flakies and reflective glitter and is fully opaque in 3 coats. It's basically the same formula as Tea Hex but in a different font, and I do enjoy it very much. I do wear quite a lot of Velociraptor too, but I don't think it's a must-have unless you have a soft spot for dark and moody teals with gorgeous shifty flakes in them. Boa Constrictor Constrictor is a chocolate linear holographic nail polish fully opaque in 2 coats. I really loved the idea of a chocolate holo on my nails until it arrived. See, the holo in it is silver, and that makes the brown rather ashy, which is a look in itself that many people like, and therefore Boa Constrictor is one of Mooncat bestsellers. However, I hate it. I hate how ashy this brown is, and I tried to make myself love this polish for a few months, yet I have failed and decluttered it. It is too ugly to be loved, just like your sister. Now today's Satan is a baby pink linear holo polish fully opaque in 2 coats. Gorgeous blinding holo is indeed present in this polish, and I do love myself some pink polish. However, I don't think that this specific shade of pink matches my olivey skin tone, so I kind of grew to even hate it during the half of year or so. Needless to say, I decluttered it as well. The shade is simply too frosty for me personally, but I feel like you cool skin tone girls might love it or hate it like me. I am not a psychic, but I would like to have $1 billion just about now, anytime now. My catio in Italy's countryside ain't gonna build itself. Stumped is a rich bark-like dark brown filled with a cascading rush of leaf-like flakies that color shift between summery green and warm autumnal hues, fully opaque in 3 coats. Not gonna lie, it does look gorgeous in the bottle, but on my nails it wasn't my favorite as well. Those gold flakies after some time of wearing the polish become annoying, and I want to rip my fingernails off, but then I remember that acetone exists. I don't know if it's the mental illness or something, because I collect those like Pokemon, but yeah, wasn't a huge fan and decluttered this one too. Mad Hatter is a black magnetic lacquer jam-packed with micro holographic glitter and green to purple multichrome flakies that reveals a rich green magnetic stripe fully opaque in 3 coats. This polish is a lot more shifty and shimmery in real life under the sun than it is in any pictures. That being said, if you live in a relatively overcast country, the polish loses half of its charm immediately. That gorgeous, borderline insane green shimmer is only visible in sunlight or under flashlight, but mostly in sunlight. The polish is discontinued, and I do not have a specific recommendation whether you should grab it or not, because my idiot brain doesn't want to wear it, but doesn't want to declutter it either, so no help from me this time. Well, if I had a chance to buy it again, I wouldn't, but since I have it, it's like, oh well, might wear it sometime this year again. Bermuda Triangle is a purple jelly lacquer filled with green iridescent flakies and super micro holographic glitter, and is almost fully opaque in 3 coats. It's just not the best from Mooncat at all, because polish is extremely sheer and also sad looking. Something about this withered, diluted purple and a combo of gorgeous blue to green flakies doesn't sit with me. Very lackluster and rather boring shade to have, and therefore I decluttered it. My Bugs is a green crelly base with a strong green to yellow shimmer, and in addition it glows green in the dark, fully opaque in 3 coats. Do I wake myself up with the glow-in-the-dark aspect of this polish? Yes, to this day. Is it one of my favorite Mooncat greens to wear? Absolutely. I love it so much I want to write a petition to bring this back since it is discontinued. Let me know if you guys are down for it, because I will do it. This is not even a matter of principle, this is purely because of our children. What type of greenless world are we creating for them? Our children will soon not recognize how majestically green one's fingertips can become. What's next? We will ban green entirely? Disgusting. Catfished is an ocean blue lacquer jam-packed with blue ultra-fine flakies and super micro holographic glitter, fully opaque in 3 coats. This polish is outstandingly beautiful in real life and in pictures as well, regardless of the lights. So if you live in the forever dark hellhole of a country, this polish will not stop blinding you with its glory. Of course, nothing beats under the sun swatches, but she be looking very fine in low lights too. too. Definitely a must-have. Dragon Scales is a multichrome flaky lacquer filled with holographic glitter that shifts between shades of magenta and lime green, fully opaque in 3 coats. And I would consider this polish a must-have as well, since it is extremely shifty and very satisfying to wear. Perfectly pairs with any of the dark and moody oxblood shades you have in your collection, and the Stranger as well. Spaceoddity is a multichrome flaky lacquer that shifts between shades of berry pink, purple, orange, and green, fully opaque in 3 coats. I really wanted to get it, and I did. However, after a few months of wearing, I kind of got tired of it. Not enough to declutter, but enough to wait a season or two to get excited about it once more. But I always go in phases with most of my polishes, so if you like these types of colors, you might love this one as well. Prickly Pear is a matte cactus green lacquer filled with color-shifting orange, pink, and yellow iridescent flakies, fully opaque in 3 coats. This polish was my favorite green of 2023, and I highly recommend the shade for any muddy green lover. That being said, those gold to orange flakies might not be everyone's cup of tea. Therefore, I wish Mooncat would release exactly this shade in that jelly formula, but with very subtle or even no glitter or flakes in it. Also, please release an entire 10 green set, Michelle. Immediately buying. Flight of the Monarchs is an orange lacquer filled with color-shifting orange to amber to pink to purple shimmer, almost fully opaque in 3 coats. This is another must-have due to its unreal shine and glow. I said it many times and I'll say it again, I don't like orange polishes, and this is the only one I have, and I can't seem to stop wearing it. It's like a sunny, gilded summer's evening on your nails, and who wouldn't like that? Assholes only. What, you hate children and celery too? Wait, that's me. Anyways, Mermaid Bait is a turquoise lacquer filled with extra shifty, super chromy shimmer that shifts dramatically from pink to gold to lime green, giving this shade a baby blue appearance in the sun and a greener appearance in the shade, fully opaque in 3 coats. At first when I got the shade, I hated it because the shimmer in it is quite chunky, but the shift is so crazy and real that Mermaid Bait became one of my must-haves. And here in this channel we stand for a good hate-to-love relationship. House of Hades is a deep blue purple lacquer packed with cobalt ultra-fine flakies, fully opaque in 4 coats. I know, but Mooncat polishes dry pretty fast, so don't worry. Unlike some other polishes, like from OPI, the best royal blue to ever exist, and I am not exaggerating at all. While first few coats go on quite patchy, after another 2 the polish becomes pure perfection for those people who like their retinas to burn from the brightness of the polish. Moonjelly is a sheer white jelly lacquer filled with color-shifting blue to green to purple to pink iridescent flakies, bright blue shimmer, and super micro holographic glitter, fully opaque in 3 coats. While I don't wear this shade a lot at the moment since it does look more winter appropriate, I do love the polish simply because of its crazy good blue glow. Just look at this and tell me that this glow isn't everything you pay for in a polish. You can't, because that would be a lie. Pandemonium is a red lacquer filled with color-shifting red to orange shimmer, fully opaque in 2 coats. Definitely a must-have compared to all the reds mentioned in this video, simply because it's the brightest red that I have and I love that. However, if you are a cool-toned girly, like my friend Janie, you might enjoy Shroomdom better, since Pandemonium does lean towards orange. Sabertooth is a matte baby blue lacquer filled with bright blue shimmer, fully opaque in 3 coats. God, I hate this one! Considering that many people love this polish, I believe I got simply unlucky and my Sabertooth's formula was lumpy, gloopy, and simply unworkable. But I reached out to Mooncat and they gave me a refund as well as a discount code. No hard feelings towards Mooncat themselves, since they handled it so well. Thank you, Mooncat. Although I still wish to smash the polish with a hammer. Yes, I do have anger issues. Ultrahot is a multi-chrome lacquer shifting between hot pink, orange, and yellow, fully opaque in 2 coats. And it's really boring, to be honest. If it is your first time venturing out into indie polish territory, you might might even love it, but for us experienced folk, this shade is rather boring. Well, unless you like wearing oranges, and I don't mean the fruit, but if you do wear oranges, as in fruit, I do believe you look dope and also smell like Christmas. Antivenom is a duochrome lacquer filled with holographic glitter that shifts between shades of soft white and green, fully opaque in 3 coats. Got the bad batch of this one as well, and even with thinner, the formula was too finicky to work with. Not gonna lie, this polish looks great on the Mooncat side, but in real life it's rather boring actually. You have a 3-nose from me. Plankton is a green lacquer filled with green shimmer and super micro holographic glitter, fully opaque in 3 coats. For your green polish lovers, this one is a must-have as well. I love the shine of it as well as the brightness, perfectly suitable for every season kind of green. I wear it all the time in a skittle of other greens and never am disappointed. Yet I am myself a disappointment to my parents. The foundation of many mental illnesses, but also a reason why I am so funny. Sand Viper is a sheer light pink beige jelly lacquer filled with orange, red, shimmer, fully opaque in 3 coats. If you were searching for a good nude, this is it. Sometimes I wear it in 1 coat, sometimes in 2, and sometimes in 3. Its sheer formula is perfect to adjust the opacity you want depending on your mood that day. And I have to say, it does look gorgeous when a little see-through. The nail just looks so aesthetic and clean. Drown My Demons is a deep ocean blue magnetic lacquer that reveals a green magnetic stripe fully opaque in 3 coats. For some reason, I can't seem to catch this polish on camera to its full potential that I can see in real life. I love wearing it with Into the Abyss as a base rather than on its own, because then I only need 2 coats instead of 3. So 1 coat of Into the Abyss and 1 coat of Drown My Demons. Don't forget that you can magnetize only a few nails at the time. I highly recommend that if you are a lazy person, and I have noticed that ring finger and middle finger magnetized together look the best. Nightcrawler is a dark smoky gray purple lacquer filled with soft purple shimmer, fully opaque in 2 coats. She is indeed moody and gorgeous and reminds me of the cloud after a storm in the summer's evening. I honestly am not a fan of purples in general, but I don't mind a good purple shimmer in a polish. The shift to red color is super strong as well, and the polish looks very different depending on the lights. It looks good in any light, unlike me. Beowulf is an emerald green creme fully opaque in 2 coats. Man, this cream formula is buttery and it just glides on the nails. Beowulf is one of the polishes I would like to taste, and I imagine it would taste like nail polish mostly, but it should taste sour instead. She is not as used as my other green shades like say the Stranger, but honestly my heart craves it at least once a month, so I consider this shade a smash. Queen of the Dead is a dark red thermal lacquer that transitions from a shade of deep wine red when cold to a shade of raspberry red when warm, fully opaque in 4 coats. First of all, let's call things how they are. This is a full-on blood polish, and therefore this is a straight up must-have in my collection. Yes, it's thermal and can die on us pretty fast, maybe in a year or so. It might lose its thermal properties, and it also has a weird smell. However, I swear there is nothing more entertaining than staring at your nails getting cold, then warm, then cold again, and so on. Dark blood, light blood, oh so exciting! Petals for a Narcissist is a sheer white gray lacquer filled with violet pink shimmer, fully opaque in 3 coats. I still consider this any Caucasian's nude, or a little bit more interesting and rather ghostly palette cleanser if you will. I personally would consider mostly winter to spring shade, so for now I won't get a lot of use for it, because in my heart it's already summer. However, I'm sure I'll pull it out once I get tired of colors, regardless of the time of the year, and again, that shimmer is gorgeous. Freshly Bitten is a rich wine red lacquer filled with purple to pink shimmer, fully opaque in 2 coats. This one is an autumnal essential and I rest my case here, and since I am a Virgo born in September, that is also a law. I don't make the rules. Also, it replaced its predecessor, Magenta Jelly. The shimmer in Freshly Bitten is just better, you guys. I know we all love hollow, but sometimes just a scatter of it looks better. Garden of Evil is a green lacquer filled with violet shimmer and micro holographic glitter, fully opaque in 3 coats. Another muddy green, another must-have. In my last video, where I mentioned this polish, I didn't know what I enjoy more, Garden of Evil or Fields of Elysium, since they both are beautiful, but if I had to choose only one of them now, I would pick Garden of Evil. I wear it a lot more often nowadays, so highly recommend this one. To All Who Ghosted Me is a dusty lilac lacquer filled with blue shimmer, fully opaque in 2 coats. I know many people love these types of gray polishes and I was more than excited to try it. However, it didn't steal my heart or other body parts, literally nor figuratively. Therefore, I feel like I might use it for side projects or just declutter it altogether. Lovebomb is a mauve lacquer filled with violet shimmer and micro holographic glitter, fully opaque in 2 coats. Not a fan of mauves usually, since the red tones in them bring up the redness of my hands, and since I do shit around myself, I do have quite some redness on my hands. Interestingly enough, actual red polishes don't bring my redness of the hands, so that's nice. This mauve though is super flattering since it has that violet shimmer in it, so I like it a lot. The Trouble with Immortality is a bronze metallic lacquer fully opaque in 2 coats. Definitely a must-have simply because of that unreal sparkle. I stare at my nails all day long when wearing this polish, and you may not like the color, but the formula is chef's kiss in itself. So yeah, just add it to your cart already. Or don't, I'm not the boss of you. Devil's Ivy is a sage green magnetic lacquer that reveals a silver magnetic stripe fully opaque in 3 coats. At first I was like, oh, well that's a nice blue magnetic, and I still think it's blue, but now I consider it a must-have simply because of its unique shade and beautiful silver magnetic sparkle. I wear it non-stop and I feel like it's the prettiest under the sun. Fields of Elysium is a muted sage lacquer filled with violet shimmer and micro holographic glitter, fully opaque in 3 coats. That's a very nice shade, even though it isn't a must-have. I feel like this one also falls under a nice to have category. A bit more subtle green tint, and the shimmer looks gorgeous, and the formula is very beautiful as well, as with all Persephone collection polishes. Now to the essentials. For quite a while I was using Mooncat's Hardcore Base Coat. It is beautiful for longevity, it just seeps into the nail and leaves the nail quite matte. However, doesn't prevent staining at all. Getting Even Nail Primer covers the nail completely in 3 coats, very good for covering the stained nails and filling in the ridges, but doesn't prevent the nails from further staining. You don't need another base coat to use underneath it because this primer is a base coat, but just tinted. Speed Demon Top Coat is the glossiest top coat I have tried so far, but it does get bubbly and thick around halfway through, so if you buy this, just make sure to have a quality nail polish thinner nearby. Nail Elixir is perfect for any dry cuticles. It seems a little thicker than Hollow Taco Oil Pen, but still moisturizes the cuticles beautifully. The only thing I don't like is the glass bottle packaging. I can't carry the cuticle oil in this packaging with me, and also I just don't reach for it as much. I would love this oil even more if they added the option to have a fragrance in it. It just feels so nice when you end the entire nail routine with something that smells good for a bit, you know? If you enjoyed the video, please share it with friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in a few mental breakdowns. Bye!